Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another Dan Cross video. So, yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, this gameplay is exactly where I cut it off on the part 1, funny enough, because I had extra game footage and I was like, I don't want to waste it, you know, it would suck to waste such valuable game footage. And I mean, when I say valuable, I mean it's actually very, very time consuming to get this game footage because I actually have to play the game. Who would have thought? Anyways, so welcome back to another Dan Cross video. Today we're going to be going into yet another Pokemon theory. Now, this is going to be part 2 of the last theory, in the sense that it's part 2 of the regional variant theory landmass thing. I don't know. I forgot what I called it in the script. I'm going to have to find that out when I read the script again. Anyways, why don't we go right into it? So, as a quick recap, in the last video, we, I guess, theorized. That's the word I'm looking for. Theorized. We theorized that Alola and Kanto were once a part of the same landmass, in the sense that they were a mega continent or a mega region. And if you guys want to know more about that, you should go check out the other video. I'll have a link to that in the description. I don't know how to use the eye thing in the corner yet, but maybe I will if I figure it out. So, yeah. Anyways, so the case for Galar is actually very similar. Had it not been for one issue. In the last video, we concluded that the two regions were the same landmass, to the point where it's like the Cantonian forms of the Cantonian Pokemon could, walk over from the Alola region to the Kanto region, or vice versa, from the Kanto to the Alola region, because none of them could use surf or swim or fly over if there wasn't some sort of land bridge. So what makes this video so interesting is that this isn't the case anymore, because there are Pokemon like Farfetch'd, and I don't know if y'all noticed, but Farfetch'd is very clearly a bird Pokemon, so it stands to reason that it can learn fly, and spoiler alert, it actually can learn fly. While the Galarian form can't learn fly, it doesn't matter, because the only thing in this theory that we would need to use fly for is to go from one landmass to the other, in which case, once it goes and transfers from Kanto to Galar, it can be left on its own. It can adapt. It doesn't have to come back anymore for Galarian Farfetch'd to exist. So, it's not a problem that Galarian Farfetch'd does not know how to fly. And this is also the case with Cursula as well, because I'm pretty sure Cursula can swim. I actually didn't fact check that one, but it's a water type. I don't know why. It's coral. I don't know why it couldn't swim, So, transportation is not an issue for at least one or more species of Pokemon with a Galarian form. So, an easy answer would be to say that, Galar and Alola and Kanto were all once a mega region, because some of the Pokemon can't fly or swim, so that would be a very easy reason. And just because it's one mega region doesn't mean that a Farfetch'd can't fly from one landmass to another, or one part of that landmass to another, and Cursula can't swim around that landmass from one side to the other. So an easy answer would be to just say that, I guess it's all one huge, mega continent. But that's too easy, right? We want to make it a little more interesting than that. So here's what I have come up with. And I'll be honest, it's a lot of it was theory based. I tried as hard as I could to fact check all of it, but it was really hard to fact check because I couldn't exactly find answers for everything. So this is the theory that I am proposing for at least Galar and the Galarian species that cannot fly or swim, specifically in their Cantonian forms. So Obstagoon, Lanoon, and Zigzagoon are an interesting case. And the reason why I say this is because In order for a species to adapt, it needs a very long period of time. However, Obstagoon rather evolves from Lanoon, which means that this is an entirely new species. It's no longer just an adaptation or a variant of a species. It is an entirely different species on its own because of an evolution that in the sense that Obstagoon evolves from Lanoon, meaning there's an entirely new species of Pokemon. And in real life at least, in order to achieve something like this, you can't just be in there for like a long period of time. You have to be there for like millions of years, scientifically speaking. Like the amount of time it takes for something to evolve, meaning it's no longer just an adaptation, is longer, because first the way it kind of goes is this: it's you have an adaptation and then an evolution, where evolution is one step further to the point where that evolution is that evolved species is basically, in terms of physically and all its attributes and stuff like that and its characteristics, are no longer like identical to the root species or the species that it evolved from. Similar in the sense to, like, I don't know, the cats, like the big tigers and stuff like, I don't know. It's like we have tons of tigers, or yeah, tigers, that works. But like we have the orange tigers, we have white tigers. I actually don't know all the names of the tigers, if I'm being honest. I kind of just pulled that one out of the top of my head. But the point is that we can have different types of tigers. However, a tiger is entirely a different species from something like a lion, right? Like this is what we're dealing with here. And to go from a tiger to a lion requires more time to evolve than it does for one species of tiger to adapt to another, is the point I'm trying to get across here. So in this sense, Zigzagoon had to have come, like, it wasn't just that Galar and Alola and Kanto were all stuck together, but it was that Galar actually split off sooner than Alola did. And that we can see that because of Obstagoon and how long it takes for an Obstagoon, or at least in terms of scientifically speaking. I can't English right now. In terms of scientifically speaking, it takes longer. So it's safer to assume that Galar broke off before the Alolan chunk did. And while I think that in order for Pokemon like Galarian Ponyta to exist, the mega region theory, as I'm now calling it, has to be true, I think that isn't it. Like, I talked about how I guess certain Galarian Pokemon are older than Alolan form Pokemon. But in the case of Weezing, now, like, Weezing is far more interesting. And the reason I like not in the sense that Galarian Weezing is more interesting than Obstagoon, because I actually think Obstagoon is way cooler. Like, have you seen Obstagoon? That thing is actually, like, it actually made me want to add a Zigzagoon to my team. And it's a Zigzagoon, right? It's like useless. But that's not my point here. My point here is that Galarian Weezing didn't actually adapt. Rather, I would say it actually mutated. The reason why I say it mutated is because if you look at the Pokedex entries for just regular Cantonian Weezing, a lot of them say, like, how, and by a lot I mean like 80% of them talk about how it absorbs gases from garbage, it absorbs pollution, it absorbs gas, it eats gas, whatever it is, right? And the reason I say that Galarian Weezing is a mutation is because it doesn't just absorb gases anymore. It now cleans it. A feature that Cantonian Weezing never had. In fact, in some cases, it was actually the opposite for Cantonian Weezing, where it made the air smell worse, right? And so for Galarian Weezing to actually be able to, like, it mutated such that it was able to actually clean the air. And the reason I say it's a mutation as opposed to an adaptation is because Galarian wheezing needed to adapt. It needs time. It just naturally adapts to its environment. However, if you take a look at the Galar region as a whole, there's like, I don't know if y'all noticed the giant steam engine cities, but those cause a lot of pollution. But the thing with pollution is it's a very recent problem. It's not something that existed like, I don't know, 1,000 years ago in the real world. Well, maybe it did. I actually didn't fact check that. But pollution really started taking off about 300 or 400 years ago. Around around 19th century is when pollution just started going from like meh to like a serious problem, in the sense that it was a problem but we didn't know it yet. And so seeing that all the huge cities and whatnot had to have been built by people in the Galar region, the pollution also had to have been produced by people. And yes, while there were people before, anyone that we've run into, like it's safe to say that Galar is a very old region with a lot of natural Galarian inhabitants. Once transportation became a thing, which it's really easy in the Pokemon world, like you don't need a plane for that. You need a Pokemon, and they are everywhere. You have people come over from other regions, come to Galar, and then they start building their cities. And as the cities adapt, the technology adapts, but so does the pollution, which then caused the wheezing to mutate in such a way that actually, like, the pollution got so bad that the wheezing had to clean it instead of making it worse, which is what they normally did in their Cantonian form. So, in summary, there is a much wide... I shouldn't start with that. In summary, while I do think that the mega region theory is still true for the for Galar and Alola and Kanto, I think that it is interesting now because we have a much wider variance when it comes to how long each species of Pokemon has existed in Galar compared to any of the Alolan. Why did I type Alolinian in the script? Alolan Pokemon that have an Alolan form or a Cantonian form. So that is my theory, you guys. This one took a lot more time than I was anticipating. I was anticipating most of the research to be done in the first part, but actually most of the research was done in this part, which I was very much surprised by, because I actually, had to look things up. Like, does steam engines cause a lot of pollution? And like, yeah, they actually do. They cause massive amounts of pollution. Not necessarily the most, but they're definitely up there. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know why. As well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this. Because these videos take a lot of time and effort to make. So I'd very much appreciate it if you guys, liked the video, if you enjoyed it, and if you didn't enjoy it, you just provide some feedback. That'd be very helpful. And yeah, comment anything else you guys want me to answer. Any questions that you have in the Pokemon world that you want answered. Any unanswered questions is what I meant to say. Anyways, I'm done talking. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.